Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Capricorn energy. For this round, I'm going to get a few cards out to see what is the situation, and then we're going to get some cards out to be what the possible outcome could be. So we're going to take a look at it from the perspective of how different people would handle this energy depending on if they're harnessing high vibe Capricorn energy or low vibe Capricorn energy. High vibe Capricorn energy in general, earth sign energy, is about building a legacy in life. Is it going to be based on freedom, loving yourself, believing in yourself, limitless, believing in your dreams, believing in love, believing in yourself? Or are you going to give up on those things and be enslaved by your worldly nature of fear, insecurity, pride, ego, and maybe focus your life more on money, materialism, and status and image to build a legacy? Okay, so the reason for the reading is the Leo Strength card. Are we going to be emotionally brave and strong? Listen to our intuition, be bold and brave and confident? Or are we going to operate from pride and ego? That is the choice. We either see the truth, or in our pride and ego, we think we know better and we move forward with our own idea. The people that are in their pride and ego, they have the idea that they can force the wheel of fate to turn in their favor. They are going to try to deceive their own inner nature and also try to deceive other people who they might perceive as being vulnerable. And they're going to try to manipulate them and deceive them about the truth. They have the idea they can force the wheel to go in their favor by being deceptive and manipulative, either by continuing to be immature and operate from their pride and ego. Because sometimes if people want to be in a relationship with you, they'll be open, they'll be honest, they'll communicate. And when people don't want to be open and honest and vulnerable, they choose to use other tactics, operating from pride and ego to try to manipulate people. Some people right now could have thought that they will just sit and be deceptive and manipulative in their pride and ego, being stubborn. And some of you that are in high vibe are watching this person in a way where it's like, I see the truth. Your inner child nature knows the truth, is holding the sword of truth. You're open, you're honest, you're loving, you're brave, you're strong. And when you're not operating out of pride and ego, you can kind of tell when other people are operating out of pride and ego. And that's it. People can be open and honest and loving and actually go with the flow of the universe, which is tempering their prideful, egotistical, emotionally defensive nature, seeing life from a higher perspective to get down to the truth and communicate the truth. And some people are so up in their mind and have a lot of mental conflict and might have an energy about them of wanting to win at all costs, maybe wanting to look like a shining star in the world, like in their pride and ego, like they're really successful and victorious. And they might try to manipulate someone, maybe an air sign, a Libra, Aquarius, a Gemini, who they might think could be tempted by pride and ego. So the Page of Swords, could be a messenger. Someone who's in their pride and ego has the idea that they're going to try to deceive someone else, maybe a Leo, to communicate. They're going to communicate with them. either someone who they think is brave and strong, but they're not seeing things clearly and they think they can manipulate this person, or someone who shines bright in the world, who they might think could be tempted by pride and ego if they were to kind of communicate with them in a deceptive way, that because if they think someone else is in their pride and ego, that they can get them to align with them. But the outcome will be that I think people will be defensive to them. They will be defensive to exchanging time, energy, effort, financial resources, or hugs and kisses with this person, because they want someone in their future who is mature. An emperor is like somebody high vibe who embodies all the kings of the suit of the deck. We can make decisions just from our mind, or just from our heart, or just from our lust or greed or pride, or because of financial considerations. But if we don't want one aspect of ourself making major decisions in our life, we defer to our more mature nature of self to say, you know what, just because I might love someone, just because I might have passion or lust for someone, just because that might make sense practically and logically, or just because that would be good for me financially or whatever, I'm not going to make a decision based on just those things. I'm going to take all of those aspects of self into consideration to make a mature decision. And I think if some people that are in shadowy Capricorn energy try to manipulate people, I think the shadowy other people in their life will still be defensive of exchanging resources with them. The people that are in shadowy energy, they want to be the boss. They don't want equal give and take. It could be two people kind of in a power dynamic. They both want to have the scales tipped in their favor. I want to be in the favored position. You defer to me. I'm the boss. And if they try to manipulate someone who's connected in with their inner truth and has hope and faith and belief in themselves, that person is a boss. It's like, if you're not someone who's grown and matured and making decisions that are best for everyone, and if I sense that you're being manipulative and defensive and you're being kind of prideful and egotistical, or trying to appeal to my competitive nature or my prideful nature, whatever, no, I am going to make a decision to be defensive to you, and I will not be exchanging hugs and kisses or financial resources with you. Only 8 minutes. Let's go see what is the idea that some people have. And you high vibe people, because you have tempered your prideful, your more base nature, you're not in competitive energy, you're not making decisions out of fear or insecurity or pride or ego. You've tempered your more beastly nature, and you're bold and brave and confident and listening to your intuition. You have seen the truth that you need to go with the flow. Get over yourself, get over your pride and ego, keep moving forward. Even though it might cause you some mental conflict, because we have this dualistic nature, there could be people in your life that you wanted to work with or be in a relationship with, so it can kind of keep us in two minds about, should I want to still work with them, or should I move forward? It causes us mental conflict, and we need to keep listening to our intuition and the truth and love to guide us. We keep willing to move forward. We keep having hope and faith and belief in our dreams. 7 of Swords is Aquarius energy. We step back to see life from a higher perspective and keep staying. We move forward because 7 of Swords to holding an Ace of Swords means a 6 of Swords at play. And we want to move forward away from being in mental conflict or investing time, energy, and effort or thoughts or emotions into people who seem to have a lot of mental conflict or who seem to want to win at all costs or whatever, to get to our truth. What is my truth? I want to be bold and brave and confident within myself. I also want to be in relationships with other people who are bold and brave and confident. Other people who have tempered their more prideful, egotistical, selfish, greedy, immature, indulgent, wanting everything their way. When we work together with people in relationships, it should be just and fair and balanced, and people should act with character and integrity and be open and honest and loving and act with character and integrity. And if you were working with someone, a Leo, or someone who is operating more out of their pride and ego, you saw the truth. And you move forward being bold and brave to see life from a higher perspective and defend your dream that you have for yourself. We're responsible for bringing our inner child dreams into reality. If we get caught up in our fear, our insecurity, our pride, our ego, our addictions, our inner child dreams are never going to come into reality. We need to be bold and brave and confident enough to work through our own mental confusion, our own kind of worldly desires to look like a shining star in the world or to look like the winner or whatever, and not make decisions based on that, but to make decisions based on what is best for me, nurturing and loving myself, to be in the relationships and the jobs and friendship groups that are supportive of that. Not people I've got to be defensive to, not people I've got to try to mentally out strategize because they're manipulative and deceptive or controlling or bossy or manipulative. That's no way to live your life. So you're standing in your truth, being brave and strong. And while you're doing that, you could have other people looking at you. And you could have people that are in shadowy energy and positive energy looking at you. The people that are in shadowy energy have the idea maybe things would go in their favor if they're kind of deceptive and manipulative to leave behind whatever they were in order to communicate with you and maybe move forward with you. But they would be wanting to get in a relationship with you because of pride, ego, fear, insecurity. They're being deceptive and manipulative. For others of you, you could have someone coming towards you. They see that you're bold and brave and strong, and they're bold and brave and strong. They see the truth. They want to move forward, and they maybe have to work through their own fears and insecurities and have hope and faith and belief in themselves in order to communicate with you. And I think whoever communicates with you, you're certainly going to be defensive if somebody seems like bossy and controlling. All shadowy Aries energy can be, it's all about their wants, their needs, their lusts, their greed. And that's where they could be being deceptive and manipulative. They're communicating to you, but they're communicating to you out of pride and ego and wanting to manipulate and be selfish and be greedy, all about their ego, their image, their status. And for others, you're going to, be cautious because you want to make sure that people who are in your future are people who make decisions that are best for everyone involved instead of making decisions that are just best for them. And you want to make sure that they are someone who is connected in with themselves emotionally and intuitively, who has tempered their more beastly, prideful, egotistical, selfish, greedy, lustful nature. And that they really are someone who is being open and honest and authentic. Let's go see what the ideas are. Yeah, some people have the idea they had been taking action to bring one dream into reality, maybe with a Leo, But they decided to put an end to that. So let's read it first from the people that are in shadowy energy. What is the deception and manipulation? Well, they could just be trying to balance out their emotions. If they left one relationship with someone who thought a dream was going to come into reality, they could have ended that, and they're trying to balance out their emotions that they think in their Libra energy that is just and fair to cause someone to be in regret because someone thought they were going to move forward victoriously with someone. But someone could have decided, well, it is all about me, and I want to look really successful, and I want to look like a shining star. And maybe if I go get in a relationship with this Capricorn who maybe looks very successful in life, that will make me look very successful. So they could send a message. What is the message? Well, now remember, the people that are in shadowy energy are being deceptive. They could communicate in the Queen of Swords that a person from their past betrayed them, and now they're looking to the future to move forward into the unknown, and they want to make you a new solid, stable offer. Or if this would be someone that they could tell you that they feel heartbroken that you turn their back to them, because the Queen of Swords, male or female, the queens talk about our emotional state. They could feel heartbroken that you feel like betrayed by them, and that you turned your back to them, and that you view them as someone who created illusion or was deceptive or manipulative, and they want to have a new beginning with you. Now, if this is not someone, and it could be someone you had been in a relationship with or not, and some of you it won't even happen, it's just that is a possibility of what the cards say. For others of you, there could be someone who's in high vibe energy who could have seen the truth that they thought their dreams were going to come into reality with someone, maybe an Aries or a Scorpio, but they saw that there was nothing new that was going to come from that, because the person they could have been in a relationship with isn't someone who comes from an foundation of love. You're either operating from a foundation of love, or you're kind of in non-life-giving energy of death, which could be that they were in a relationship with someone who is kind of operating out of their pride and ego, is competitive, or is manipulative, or bossy, or controlling, or shadowy Scorpio can be intimidating and controlling. And they just realize the truth that, oh my gosh, I might have had passion for this person and this dream, and I thought people were going to be willing to let go of old ways of being in the death card to give birth to the new, because the Scorpio emotional card talks about death and rebirth and emotionally detaching from the past to give birth to new life. And if they got in a relationship with someone who doesn't seem to be letting go of the past, they keep repeating patterns of the past, and that's kind of how they want to do it. Or they could be emotionally shallow, or they could be someone who's really kind of in their pride and ego. Shadowy Scorpio can be someone who thinks life is just about death, sex, taxes, and they're very much operating from their pride and ego. running their life, and they could be emotionally shallow and kind of cold and detached, that some people could have realized, I can't be in a relationship with this person. This is death energy. There's nothing going to come from it. Or I see that the person I'm in a relationship with tries to put an end to my dreams coming into reality, maybe tries to be forceful and controlling to stop me from moving forward in my life and believing in myself, because they don't believe in themselves. So they're trying to make me stay in a relationship with them right here where nobody grows and matures themselves. And I see this relationship's going nowhere and I have to end it. So if some people had a relationship end and they are now going with the flow, they are working through their own mental conflict about the fact that they had tried to balance things out with someone. Maybe some of them were dealing with a Libra. They thought it was going to move forward, that it would be in Cancer energy, emotionally balanced and loving, and it ended up in regret. And that's confusing. So the Seven of Swords could be that someone is just working through their mental conflict about the fact that they got in a situation, a job, or a relationship, or a friendship group. They thought it was going to move forward. They thought it was going to be just and fair and loving and balanced. And it ended up in regret, and that takes time to work through that. You have to work through all your mental conflicts. So eventually you can move away from more troubled emotions and thoughts to more calmer emotions and thoughts, and expand your perception of yourself and the world around you to see life from a higher perspective. And some of the people that have done that have gotten down to their truth. And the truth could be that they could have been someone like that who is like that in the past. So them or someone else, they realized that either the way they were living their life or the people that they were trying to work with were people who were living more from their mind and their heart, and kind of betraying the relationship. Because people who have fear and insecurity will sabotage a relationship. They don't believe in themselves, or they don't want change. They don't want to have to learn or grow and mature themselves. They don't want their partner to grow or learn and mature themselves. So they've seen the truth now. Again, in the Seven of Swords and the Queen of Swords are Aquarius energy. No longer going to live their life that way. If they were someone who is like that, thinking that's how their dream would come into reality, that they didn't have to be vulnerable and open and honest and loving, and that they could still get their dreams to come into reality, or just focus on money and materialism. Or if they were in a relationship with someone who kind of kept making decisions that were hurtful, and they realize there's no life-giving energy here anymore, and I need to turn my back on the past. Some of them could have been dealing with the Libra, and that they need to look to the future, and they need to listen to their intuition, and they need to learn the lesson that they were meant to learn from that life experience to move forward in their own life. And if that was you, that's what you're doing in this process. If there is someone who is communicating to you because they have seen some truths about themselves or other people that they had previously worked with, and they've taken this time to see life from a higher perspective, they might offer something to you. And if it's you who've learned these lessons, you could be offering these resources to other people in the world who still defend living more from their mind and their heart, who are kind of defend, I get to be the boss. When I'm in a relationship or a job situation, everybody has to do what I want. Or they defend wanting to be in relationships that are more transactional. Like, well, I give you this and then you give me that. And it's not really like I have to be emotionally vulnerable or open or honest. I just want someone to exchange resources with me, time, energy, effort, hugs, and kisses. You know, the people that have learned this lesson in life, either because they were repeating some poor past patterns of the past where they weren't being open and honest and loving, where some people could have thought, I can use my sexuality to get my dreams come into reality. I can still be emotionally shallow. I can manipulate people to get what I want. Those people that did try that, some of those people could have tried to balance things out with a Libra and who was in regret, maybe because of a Cancer. And they were hoping they could maybe manipulate that person into moving forward with them. Maybe they wanted them to betray someone so that if they were in regret about someone else, I want you to betray your former partner by getting in a relationship with me so they'll be defensive. But the whole thing is, if somebody was kind of being not getting into a relationship because of love, they were creating an illusion. And they offered somebody like a new beginning, but it was just an illusion. Then when they get in the relationship, they're defensive to actually making decisions that are best for everyone involved, exchanging resources, being equal give and take, because they never got into the relationship for that reason. For some people, in their Leo energy of pride and ego and competitiveness, some people got the idea, I know, I'm going to take action towards someone who thought their dream was going to come into reality, but it came to an end. Maybe I'll take sexual action towards them to end a dream coming into reality. I'm very competitive. It's all about my pride and ego. Can I tempt you sexually to get in a relationship with me and put an end to a dream coming into reality? And then they move forward, but they're being deceptive and manipulative. They maybe just wanted to balance things out with someone and have a new beginning and move forward with someone to make it look like they were the victor. Chariot card can be about victory. Look at me, they're moving forward with me, I'm the winner. And if the person they got in a relationship with, maybe an air sign, a Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, figured out that, wow, I thought you wanted to be in a relationship with me because you really wanted to have a victory. And then I realized it was more your pride, your ego, your competitive nature. For some, it could have been a Scorpio in their life that told them they should end a dream from coming into reality. I know, I'll try to stop them. King of Wands, Aries energy. I'll try to kind of be forceful and controlling to stop them from having their dream come into reality. Why would someone not want another person in their life to have their dream come into reality? Well, they're competitive, they're prideful, they like to control people, gives them a sense of powerfulness that they can try to convince someone else into putting an end to a dream coming into reality. Look, in my pride and ego, I won, I manipulated them. And if anybody had done that to someone, and then as time went by, they were deceptive and manipulative, and the person who got into a relationship with them was left in regret. Well, the person who is left in regret feels betrayed by that person. You weren't acting from love. You're acting from pride and ego, competitiveness. I see the truth. I'm going to hold my sword up to people who create illusion, people who tempt me with things of the world, sex, drug, pride, ego, money, materialism, where it's just an illusion. They don't really want to be in a relationship with me because of love. They want to be in a relationship with me because of their status or their image, or they want to win. They're competitive. They don't really give a damn. And the Page of Swords has maybe learned some lessons now. And they're not letting their more naive nature, maybe more trusting nature, more vulnerable nature, because for some people it could be someone they've known since they were a child, because some it could just be a family member. The people who've learned lessons from this life experience are no longer going to let somebody be bossy and controlling in their life. And they're going to be careful about maybe how they exchange resources with them, because especially if it's like a family member, you still have to probably have some give and take with them in life, but you can make sure that you're taking charge of your own life and not letting other people try to subvert authority in your own life and manipulate you and try to stop you or intimidate you or control you. And some people could have had someone who ended a relationship with you because they wanted to go take action towards someone else. But then when they move forward in that relationship, they thought everything was going to go okay, but it ended up in regret. And now, because they feel betrayed, but they're still not seeing things clearly. So if they kind of left you to go King of Wands, my wants, my lusts, my greed, I'm going to go take action towards someone else, they could still be kind of immature. They do feel betrayed by someone, but they still aren't seeing things clearly. They still think that maybe they could have a new beginning with the brave, strong people that they turned their back on before. And the strong, brave people will be like, not today, Satan. Basically, my future that I'm protecting is people who are grown and mature, people who are balanced within themselves. They've done the work within themselves to be balanced between their mind, their heart. They're prideful, defensive, greedy, selfish. I want things all my way. I'm the most important person in the relationship, with love and respect and whatever. And the high vibe people are going to be defensive to exchanging much time, energy, or effort, or hugs and kisses with these people if they're still in their pride and ego, because the high vibe people have become enlightened to the truth that some people do live more from their mind and their heart, and they'll betray people because they're defensive and guarded to being open and honest and authentic and bold and brave and open and loving. We have the free will choice to be open and honest and vulnerable and loving, or we can be defensive to that because we could get hurt doing that. And if you have become enlightened that maybe someone who makes decisions more from their mind than their heart, or a Libra, is defensive because, I don't know, they either decided they don't want to move forward in a new beginning, or that would require them to be more open and honest and authentic and maybe reveal some things that they don't want to reveal, they won't. So just be careful if any of you have someone coming towards you. Doesn't have to be someone that you had been in a relationship. For some of you, it is, and that person still has illusions that you're in your pride and ego. And that's why they think that you're have your back to them, but they think that you're still in fear and insecurity about moving forward, and that you're maybe still in your pride and ego and competitive energy about them, especially if it was someone you went with before that could have ended a relationship with you to basically go have intimacy or hopes of having intimacy with someone else. And then that relationship either did move forward and ended in regret, or they kept hoping it would move forward, and maybe they never even got into that other relationship and they were left in regret. And they think now, because they think you still are emotionally confused and still under illusions and in your competitive energy or pride and ego, that they can come make you an offer to get back in a relationship with them. And you might be like, not today, Satan. Have you put an end to your emotionally shallow way of being? Have you seen the truth? Have you moved forward in life? Have you tempered your pride and ego? Have you balanced out your more worldly nature and thinking it's just and fair to either be all about you or money and materialism and status and image? Have you realized yet that that only leads to regret? Have you balanced out your dualistic nature and taken the reins of your free will, dualistic nature out of self-love for yourself? So that your shadow nature or whatever isn't running your life off into the ditch? Have you seen how you betrayed others? Have you seen how you betrayed yourself? You know, the whole thing is we do things in life until we realize how we sabotaged ourselves, how we hurt other people in our pride, our ego, whatever. You know, and when we learn the lesson, there's no shame in that. The only time to keep maybe being in shame about it is when we keep arrogantly denying and keep creating illusion. Then we're living a lie and we're not seeing the truth. People who have seen the truth and see through the fear and the illusion, who've learned lessons in life, well, that's something to be applauded. But for some of you, it still doesn't mean that you want to exchange resources with someone. You know, I wish you peace. I hope it works out for you. You know, but you still might not be interested. You know, it's kind of hard depending on who the person is in your life. Depends on how much you would want to invest time, energy, and effort into them in the future. Because you're kind of over it. You know, I don't need you to like me. I don't need you to love me. I can wish you peace. I can wish you love, and I'm moving on. And for others, if they have tempered their fear, their insecurity, their pride, their ego, their addictions, whatever their shadow energy was, you know, and they do seem like they have learned lessons and they are willing to speak the truth about what was hidden and maybe how they were tempted to align with people in their life, you know, but those people, unless they've learned to have good boundaries within themselves against those things that opens up the door for third parties to manipulate them, you know, until they've learned to temper their shadow side, and the door is always open for people to tempt them because they're fearful, they're insecure, they're prideful, they're materialistic, they're, you know, whatever. People can play on all those fears and ego things until they have decided, I choose happiness. I don't choose my shadow nature. I am not going to indulge my more immature, selfish, greedy, indulgent, worldly nature anymore, or my fears or my insecurities. We manifest our life based on what we think. Probably nobody's shoving those thoughts in your head but yourself. Are you going to learn to discipline yourself? And it takes time, you know, but we can be the master of our thoughts and the emotions we choose to sit in every day. Are people emotionally brave and strong? Are they happy in a family operating from pride and ego and hoping that someone who wants to be in a happy family with them will indulge their prideful, egotistical, selfish, greedy, bossy, controlling nature? If that's not your dream life, I think you'll move on and say, I think I can create a happy, loving family with you as maybe a periphery person, at least in my life. So I think we covered all the stories in there. Before I turn on the camera, I shuffled the Aboriginal Dreaming Totem deck, and you got frustration. Your frustration is not a wasted energy if it is channeled positively to create a better outcome for yourself. Embrace frustration and work with it, not against it. And the reason that came out is because of foolishness. You are worried that by letting go of your frustration, those who are responsible will perceive they have won. Well, they have won because the only one suffering is you. That's how we have to overcome our pride and ego. You know, holding on to jealousy, envy, regret, anger, whatever. People who are like to manipulate people. It gives them a sense of control to make people be in those energies. Free yourself from it. No longer be in your pride and ego about someone who is unloving, who is disrespectful, who is selfish, who is greedy, who is bossy, who is controlling, who maybe just has a lot of pain and heartbreak that they refuse to deal with. Maybe, sadly, someone who maybe is heartbroken because they have a very harsh inner critical voice that always keeps them in fear and insecurity. Eventually it gets to a place of just sadness. I mean, if you've, kind of like sad that they feel that way. If any of you have ever run your life onto the ditch where you were fearful or you were really insecure or you thought indulging in things of the world would make your life get better and it ended up kind of dragging your life off into the ditch, it's an awful place to be and we really shouldn't wish it upon anybody. It's really hard when those people present themselves to the world and they're really mean or spiteful or competitive or backstabbing and betraying people. But really, we really should wish that there were no people like that in the world because they just hurt other people. And I think they're kind of living a little hell on earth of their own because we're either putting in work and effort to create a little heaven on earth within ourselves and with others, or we're kind of contaminating and being selfish and greedy and got a little hell going on in our own mind. And we kind of bring that to other people's lives. So I think the best thing is if you can just see it from a higher perspective that, they're going to create a little or a lot of hell on earth in their own life. They'll probably be very cocky and self righteous and whatever about it. But I think anybody, when you're not loving and believing in yourself, it's an awful place to be, So anyway, I also did a flip of the quote calendar. I got a new one. And it says, March 14th, overcome the notion that you must be regular. It robs you of the chance to be extraordinary. I don't think there's anything wrong with being regular. A nice, simple life of loving, being kind, enjoying and appreciating the simple pleasures in life. The people who chase like glory and fame and image and status. Ugh. Some people, because they do think they are in their ego. They do think living from their ego will bring them long-term emotional wish fulfillment. Those people are still defending their decision to make a decision that's best for them. And they're going to get themselves into a transactional relationship with someone who will exchange like financial resources with them or hugs and kisses and be in a relationship with them because it's good for their ego or image. They do have the idea that they're going to keep moving forward in this emotionally shallow way. They're probably going to try to use their sexuality to get their dreams to come into reality. They want fate to go in their favor. They are going to be deceptive and manipulative. They are going to try to balance things out with someone who they feel is moving forward in a way that looks successful, even though they know they're probably going to be an emotional regret in this relationship. But if their ego or their image or money and materialism is more important to them and they don't want to illuminate the truth, to rectify the past or deal with their regrets of the past and move forward in their life, they're going to get in a relationship with someone who right now might be communicating with them, because the Ace of Swords can be communication, who's saying, you should move forward with me, we'll look really successful. And some people are willing to move forward in a relationship even though it will cause them to be in regret. And yeah, their inner child is heartbroken that someone is living more from their mind and their heart, that they're unwilling to dig beneath the surface of their emotions that they keep hidden and are moving forward with this worldly offer, being defensive to listening to their intuition. So they're going to move forward in a relationship out of pride and ego, their own inner child nature. They're betraying it because they're not listening to their intuition. They're not speaking their emotional truth. But if someone is offering them a new financial beginning where they can keep the truth hidden, where they don't have to do the work to balance out their emotions about past pain and heartbreak or relationships that didn't work out, that they can keep defending the decision that they made to exchange resources with someone that they maybe initially decided to do out of pride and ego, they're going to keep moving forward because they don't want to seem like they were wrong. So they're going to stay in a relationship that's going to lead to nothing but regret. They'll feel stuck. They might exchange resources with a Pisces who betrayed them, who's defensive of being open and honest and giving and warm. But if that person has money and materialism or status or image, or it makes them look like, I wasn't wrong, I made a decision, and even though I regret making that decision, I don't want to look like I didn't make the right decision, so I'm going to stick with it anyway out of my pride and ego just to prove a point. And the people in my life who did have good boundaries, who are warm and loving and nurturing and having a new beginning, I hope they feel betrayed because I'm betraying myself and I'm operating from pride and ego. And I hope it hurts you that I'm making these decisions in my life because I'm hurt that you weren't willing to maybe put up with my more immature, bossy, controlling ways and you moved on. So let it go. You can probably see that they're stuck in their pride and ego. And keep focused on the future and invest your time, energy, and effort in the future and having the emotionally fulfilling life that you deserve. So there you go, Capricorns. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.